can start.
Uh, Thank you for the introduction. Okay, let's start the class. Okay, in today's section, we will going to discuss Ajax and jQuery. We will cover the fundamentals or basics or an outline of Ajax and jQuery. These two are for fundamental technologies in the case of the web world. And okay, let's start. So these are the contents. First, we will introduce what is Ajax and we'll discuss the basic foundation of Ajax and why it is required. Then we will move to data formats, which are the various data formats used in Ajax response message. Then we will get into Ajax implementation. I will explain the coding or basic idea of how you can code Ajax. Then jQuery introduction. We will jQuery is a popular JavaScript library, and we will introduce that library. And at last, we will discuss how Ajax works in jQuery. What are the methods provided by jQuery for implementing Ajax? So this is our plan. So let's get into it. So first of all, Ajax introduction. So Ajax is a beautiful technique which is used for loading part of a web page without reloading the entire content, entire page. Normally, what happens when we execute a script in a web page is that entire page got refresh, and that what happens the normal scenario. But Ajax is a beautiful change with that. It doesn't require to reload the entire page. We can reload parts of the page. So that's what the core concept of Ajax. We will discuss in detail. Okay, you have seen Ajax knowingly or unknowingly in several situations, and you are using it in a regular basis, like even Google search in Maps. So Maps is a beautiful example in the case of Ajax. Most often, you would have seen that in your mobile applications, you have Google Maps. Okay, so there will be Google Maps, uh, and that Google Map application will be when we open that Google Map application, you have seen that when network connectivity is low, only parts of those map will be visible, and some parts will be in the green shade, like it is not visible. And whenever the network connectivity gets strengthened, that part get loaded. Okay, so there that map itself get loading in parts by parts. Okay, so that is part of Ajax. We are not reloading that entire page. Only parts of the page can be reloading or loaded without reloading that entire page. So that is a core concept of Ajax. So you have seen in most of these social networking sites, you can see when you type your username, an auto suggestion is prompted where it displays your details. Okay, so when you add items into the cart, you can see that adding items works dynamically without reloading that entire page. You can add more items to that cart. When you type, a suggestion box is prompted. So that is also prominent example of Ajax. And you can choose your username when you are going to register for Facebook. When you type your username, uh, then it gets prompted that that username has already been taken. That page doesn't get to reload. Entire page is not reloading, but only that section below that it is getting notified that your username is taken. Okay, your username is taken. Try another. So that is what is Ajax is working on behind. Okay, so in all of these sites there is Ajax, and the Ajax base idea is this. Base idea is this. To loading data into part of the page without reloading entire page. It doesn't require to reload the entire page. And it uses asynchronous processing model. As we discussed in our normal web-like interaction, what there happens is synchronous kind of interaction, and Ajax changed that is asynchronous kind of interaction. So okay, I forgot one thing. Ajax full form. It doesn't represent the full form of Ajax. So it is asynchronous. That A stands for asynchronous. J stands for JavaScript. A stands for and X stands for XML. Asynchronous, JavaScript, and XML. So that is Ajax. So it uses asynchronous processing model. So we will discuss what is the basic difference between these two, synchronous and asynchronous processing model. And it led rise to what is called single page applications. Single page applications is something like you have seen desktop applications. In desktop applications, within the single window, everything get loaded. So that's what happens with today's websites or web applications. In Facebook, there is a single page, and that single page you can get all those content. Okay, there is a top layer tab is there, but there is a main window is there, and when you click it on a tab, that main window get updated. So Ajax led to this something called single page applications. So those are all examples of single page applications. Okay. So we will discuss how Ajax works with that asynchronous processing model. Okay, this is what happens. This is the base idea of Ajax. Whenever we make a request, that request we can make a request from parts of this website. Okay, so like this, I have to update only this part of that website. So a request is made. You can compare it with our previous map example. Imagine that this full portion is the Google map, and only this portion is not getting loaded. Okay, so we want how to load this portion. Only this portion need to be loaded. So what we can do is there will be an Ajax request will be sent to that server requesting corresponding value in that portion. Then 1 minute, I'm opening this pointer. Okay, let it be. So on the server, that server fetches that data, the maps of corresponding place, and that particular information will be sent back to the web page. Okay, so that web page doesn't need to refresh that entire content. Only that portion can be loaded. So that is Ajax. And why this is called asynchronous. Asynchronous means we are whenever we require some data, we are requesting it. Okay, and while requesting, we can do other things. And whenever that request is satisfied, that result of that request get loaded. And during that time, you can make several requests. Okay, in the map example, you can imagine that here is a portion of that map need to be loaded. Here is a portion of the map need to be loaded. Here is a portion, and here is another portion. Only this middle portion got loaded. There will be asynchronous request will be sent to the server requesting this portion's data, this portion's data, and this portion's data. Okay, imagine that this portion's data is available from that server, and that request will be sent back, and that portion will get updated. And whenever the corresponding request response come back, all those things get updated on the web page. It doesn't need to be in a synchronous manner. Synchronous manner means that one after another. First this need to happen, then after this only this need to happen. So it's not works that way. Anything, there is doesn't need to be a request sequence. Okay, first I request this. Okay, it's like a restaurant scenario. Like imagine a so there are several persons are there, and one person ordered a, something called biryani. Okay, so these all requests come after one is order, tea is ordered, then a biryani is ordered. Okay, so all these requests goes to that server, and that server processes the request and responds back. Okay, so obviously the first result that will happen, that will get satisfied is the tea request because it is easy to get. Okay, so the server, even if the request made in the sequence first masala dosha, then tea, and then biryani, that second request will be another request will get processed. So that is kind of way of asynchronous model. In the synchronous way of fashion, that first order which was made, that will be get satisfied, should be taken. Okay, that is the synchronous model. And what I explained with our normal scenario of hotel, what happens there is asynchronous model. Okay, so Ajax is that follows that asynchronous model. So I believe you understand the concept or core concept of Ajax, why it's required. Okay, so you have seen it in most of these websites. Okay, so Google Map is one of the best example for Ajax utilization. Okay, let's move into another one slide which clearly explain the working of Ajax. We will compare traditional web application development with Ajax web application development. So this is a picture of traditional web application development. Imagine there is a page. There is a page. A page is here, and there is a page. And in this page, there are two forms. This is form 1, and this is form 2. Okay, two forms are there, and we need separate contents. Separate data need to be requested for each of these forms. Okay, so let us see what happens. So this portion is the entire client portion. This is the server portion. Okay, so from form 1, when that form gets submitted, that request when goes to server 1. So that is step 1, and step 2 is that request get processed, and step 3 is a response get generated. You can see that a response page, and that response page is sent back. Okay, so that is step 4 for page reloading. Then entire page got reloaded, and the content of form, that particular form or that entire response get updated in the whole page. So that what happens in the normal synchronous scenario. Okay, so now imagine that this form also gets submitted, then the similar kind of thing happens. Request 2 goes, request goes, and a response is generated by that server, and that response is sent back for page reloading, and that entire page got reloaded. Okay, so that what happens in the traditional web application scenario. Okay, let us see what happens in the corresponding situation with Ajax. Okay. So what we are going to discuss. Okay, I believe you are clear with this concept. So there is a page. There are two forms. In the first form, that form got submitted, and that request went to that server, and the server generated response, and it sent back. At page reloading is happening. That entire thing is got reloaded. Then form 2 is got reloaded, got submitted, and those generated responses happened, and entire page got reloading. So two times page reloading is happening. So this is what happens in the traditional web scenario. Okay. So Ajax changed whole concept. So what happens if the Ajax is this? So like in the previous scenario, there is a form. Okay, let me take that annotated. So there is a single page, and within that page there are two forms, form 1 and form 2 are there. And okay, let us see the what happens first. Okay. So this page got submitted, and this is the first thing. User interaction initiates asynchronous request, and these two forms requests can be sent simultaneously without reloading that entire page. Imagine the first request is sent by this form. Then what happens is a callback function get happens. This is called there is a request object. We will see this request object, which is core of Ajax. Okay, so that is called XML HTTP request object. Okay, and this request, this particular request will go to the server, and server generates response and sends the data. Previously it sends the entire response. Here it just only sends the particular data which need to be updated, not just that entire page. Okay, and this response went to that request object, and an update what happened, and that particular form data gets updated, and there is no need for that entire page reloading. We can request data whenever we require, and those data will get updated on the fly. So no page reloading is required. That is asynchronous model. Okay. Then imagine this form needs something. It submitted some data. Then this data, okay, there was a mistake. So this is number one, and this was number two. While this request was in progress, we can make another request. So that is number three. Okay, so that is kind of asynchronous. While that our waiter is requesting for an order, our cook can make something at that stage. Okay, so that is an asynchronous way. And this is request 4 is made, and there at that time that masala our updated to that table. I am explaining this with that hotel scenario example. Okay, this what happens. This is what happens with Ajax. Okay, change the code. So we can make asynchronous requests, and we can load the portion of data which need to be which is required at that particular form or particular area. That's what happens with Ajax. Okay. So that is a core concept. We discuss what is the basic difference between traditional web application. So this is traditional web application. Two times page reloading and two requests are happening and happening in a sequential manner. Here, asynchronously, it got processed. There is no need for page reloading. Only data can be requested and data can be sent back asynchronously. Okay. So that's what happens with Ajax. Okay. So, so I believe you got the idea of Ajax. That was the introduction part of Ajax. So I will explain once more what happens with Ajax. So Ajax stands for so initially that XML was the response kind of data format used with Ajax. So that's why it got that name Ajax. When Ajax was created. So that is why it got that name. Okay. So we can Ajax happens in an asynchronous processing model way. It is different from the traditional web application. We can make asynchronous requests. Okay. And it is we have seen Ajax in many of the web applications we are using in Google Map, Google Search, our social networking sites, and many more websites. Okay. Most of these websites utilize Ajax for requesting portions of the data without reloading that entire page. You have seen several examples while you are typing something in Google search, while you are typing, registering for a website, registering into a website or a social networking site, you have seen that username already taken message or something. So that is all part of Ajax. And one of the core feature or one of the important aspect which Ajax changed is it led to single page application. That means only a single page is required, and within that page, entire content can be manipulated. Sections can be introduced and sections can be removed. This happens with the help of DOM, which we have discussed in the previous chapter. Okay. So that is the fundamental idea of Ajax. Okay. Now we will look into different data formats which are used as part of Ajax. Okay, I this when I specify the name of Ajax, that is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. There, that XML is the data format. Okay, so XML was the predominantly used data format in the previous or earlier scenarios when Ajax was introduced. So that's why it got the name. Now we will look into what are the different kinds of formats which can be used with Ajax response. Okay, so these data formats response to Ajax query comes in one of the three formats. Okay, so there are three formats are available with Ajax. Just you will make a request, and that response when that response comes back, that response will be in any of the three formats. Okay, so these three formats are, and first one is HTML, which is you are much familiar, hypertext markup language. That means that for an Ajax request, that server can send an entire HTML data. Okay. Then comes XML. extensible markup language. So that is XML. Okay. So extensible markup language is XML. Okay. So that was one of the prominent data formats used in the early stages. Now also XML is used, but JSON is another format which overcome or which is the leading one in the case of the web world today. So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. So that is JSON. So it is a predominantly used format in the case of the web world. Okay, these are the three data formats which can be sent back to that website as part of an AJAX response. Okay, so AJAX request will be made asynchronously and AJAX response will be made asynchronously. Okay, so as part of the response, these are the three data types which can be made. First one is HTML, second one is XML, and third one is JSON. And data sent from that server can be in any of these three formats. Okay. Okay, you are familiar with HTML, so I am not going in details of HTML. Let's discuss the other two formats. So first we'll discuss XML, that is extensible markup language. Okay. So extensible markup language is a method just like HTML, or it comes under the category of HTML that is called SGML. Both HTML and XML are subsets of SGML, that is structured um, generalized markup language. So that is called SGML, and both HTML and XML comes under this SGML category. And these two has the same kind of formats. Okay, so I will tell you the basic difference between HTML and XML. So HTML is basically used for presentation and content. Sorry, not presentation. Structure and content of that particular web page. You have to represent a web page, so that structure or content or skeleton can be represented with HTML. What XML's purpose is, it is more generally it's a data format for carrying data or transporting data. It's way of representing of data. It doesn't go for represent structure or content. It just represents, it's a way of representing data. In HTML, you cannot define your own tags. So there are three different tags are there. We are only allowed to use three different tags. But that's not the case with XML. We can create our own tags. Okay, so that is XML. So we can create our own tag. I am given a smiley. So a pucham smiley that we can create our own tag compared to HTML. Then, okay, so this is the XML. So this is an example XML document. Okay, you can see that events, event, location, date, map. So these are all are user defined tags. User can define an entire tag. Okay, so you can see a pattern here. So this complete thing represents events. So that is clear from that whole tag events. Okay. Inside that events tag, there are three symbol tags are given event. Okay, so and inside that event tag, a location is there, a date is there, a map is there, and the entire idea is clear with that syntax. Okay. So this is a user made syntax. So this is what XML is. You can define your own tags. You can represent your way of data. That is XML. So this was the most popularly used format in the earlier days. Okay. Now let's get into JSON. JSON is most popular web standard for data representation or data transportation. So it is used by in most of these websites. Even it is used by Google Map, and you can use an API to fetch data, JSON data from Google Map using Google Map API. So it is most popular format around the web for data transport. So that is JSON. Okay, so that is JSON. So he's hey. Okay, this is the kind of way of representation in the case of JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It got the name because it follows the way of JavaScript, and it follows the JavaScript Object Notation syntax. That means the way of representing objects in the case of JavaScript. So that is not anything complicated. So here we have represented it. I will give you what it is. So there is key. So this is the format. This is an entire object. Okay. This is a child used in JavaScript object notation. Okay. So there will be a key and there will be a value. You can see that. All these things. So this complete thing is an object. This complete thing is an object. Whole thing is an object. Okay. And this portion there is keys, and keys are represented in double quotes. You must follow that syntax. There is a semicolon, not semicolon. Okay. So there is colon, and at the right side there is within the double quotes that value is given. Okay. So key value pair. So that what's given in the case of JSON. Okay. So this is the format of representing JSON. Okay, JSON. Then okay, this is another way where an entire array of information is represented, like in the previous example. Previous example, location, date, and map is given in the case of that XML. In similar way, here that particular information is represented in JSON. Okay, so JSON got popularity because JavaScript got those much popularity in the case of the web around the web world. So that's why JSON got this much of popularity. Okay, that is XML and JSON. These are the two ways of representing data in the case as part of Ajax response. Okay, so request we are sending and response is coming back from that server, and that response contain any of these formats. It can contain HTML, it can contain XML, or it can contain JSON. Using DOM, using these kind of data, we can manipulate only part of that website. Okay, do you imagine that scenario where username is already taken message? So there is a text box, and below that there is a paragraph is given, but that no content is shown within that paragraph. Okay, when you type something, a request will be sent to the server requesting whether a username is present with the same name, and server checks it, and server responds back. Imagine a HTML content, and that HTML content got replaced in the below tab, below that paragraph tag. Okay, so that's why a message got displayed like username already taken. So that what happens with Ajax in real time. Okay, so these are the three data formats. So that is the summary of data formats. So we have discussed what Ajax is and what are the different data formats can be used with Ajax. Now we will get into how Ajax can be implemented, or how you can code Ajax. The core or fundamental idea of Ajax, how to implement that. Okay, let's look into it. Okay, so handling Ajax request and response. So as I discussed, there is Ajax request and correspondingly Ajax response is there. Okay. So one core factor that is called XML HTTP request. So that's what's the main thing with Ajax XML HTTP request. We have whenever we make an Ajax request, this is what the request we make. Okay, so XML HTTP request object. So there is an object, that is an object, and using this object we make an Ajax request and we get response from Ajax as part of server. Okay, let's see how to code Ajax. So this is the most fundamental or most basic idea. Okay. So first we have created a variable for holding that object. We var xhr. Xhr stands for, I just give that name to represent XML HTTP request. So that is xhr, a simple variable name. New XML, you can see that capitalization. XML is capitalized. HTTP H is capitalized. Request. So our request. So that request is capitalized. So as I discussed, so there is an object called XML HTTP request. So that object is utilized for Ajax, making Ajax request. Okay. So we first create an XML HTTP request object. Okay. So that's what happens with this first statement. So with this first statement, an XML HTTP request is made. Okay. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with the second thing, second statement. What is the meaning of that second statement? In the second statement, using that XML HTTP request object we have previously created, we use a method within that object that is called open. We are trying to open a connection with our server using any of the methods. Any of the methods means that method can be anything. That get, you have already know what is get, post, put, delete. So those are different methods available as part of HTTP request. Okay. So here a get request is made, and so this portion, this first portion, okay, this first portion is the, one moment. So this first portions represent the method, which is the method used. So get is the method. Okay, we are not using post. We are requesting some data, so get is used. Then this is the website's path or files path to which we are making that request. Okay, you have seen this in the case of while submitting a form. While submitting a form, you can specify a method and action. In that action part, you will represent which is the URL where that action need to be submitted. The similar case here, this represent to which particular page this request need to be submitted. Okay, and there is something called true. This is an optional thing, and it is setting. It need to be communicated in an asynchronous way. Okay, that's only the meaning of that true. Okay, so that is the second part. So firstly, we have created an XML HTTP request object, new XML HTTP request. Okay, and the next thing we did is we use that request object to open a connection. So open, and we specified we are using get method, and I have to connect with this particular server and use asynchronous way of communication. That is mainly what happens with Ajax. Okay, that is an optional argument, that true part. Okay, then there is the third part. What happens with the third statement is we just did the two things. We created an XML HTTP request object. We opened the connection. Now we need to send a request. Okay, so that what happens with this third statement. XHR.send. So XHR is the XML HTTP request object. Dot send. So send is a method, and that portion given within that bracket is optional. You can either either you can give a query, or you can you doesn't need to specify anything. Okay, so it can be put as blank. Okay, so that is the third part. That means you can just type like this. Okay, I will type what it is. This is also okay. XHR dot send, and within that you doesn't need to type anything. Okay, you just need to type just this thing. Okay, so that is XML. That is the Ajax request. Okay, so this is how an Ajax request is made. Okay, so three things to remember. First one, you need to open. You need to create an object of XML HTTP request. Then you need to open a connection. There you have to specify which is the method used and which is the action part, where that data, what is the location to where we are requesting that data. And as the third part, we need to send that request. Okay. So that was the three things which is as part of that Ajax request. So now let's see what happens with um, the response part. Okay, so this is the response. Okay, so this is the example of what happens with that response. So the first thing you can see that xhr.onload. So we are using the same XML HTTP request object we have used previously for requesting. Okay, so there is another method called onload. So that is a method. So that is basically an event. Okay, so is equal to function, and we are specifying a function within that curly braces. Okay, what we are doing here is whenever we are making sure that whenever that response for that request comes back, this particular thing triggers. Okay, so that's what's happened. So this response, we are specifying that whenever that data is loaded, trigger this function. So this is the event model which we have discussed in the previous class. So function if etc. Okay, so that's what happens. xhr.onload equal to function. We can specify an event. Okay, so this event will get triggered whenever that data comes back. Okay, so that's the idea. We send a request, and whenever that data comes back, this thing will trigger asynchronously or automatically. Okay. Okay. In that, okay, so that is the idea in the response case. Okay, we will look into it. As a second statement, we are checking something like xhr.status equal to 200. That means we can have different status as part of a website response. Hello. Okay, I think I saw a question there. It has disappeared. Okay, we'll come to that question later. I can't access that. So I'll respond to that questions. Okay, so as part of the response, the second statement is we are checking a status code xhr.status equal to 200. Okay, so that portion we are checking the status code. 200 stands for the status is okay. That means the server got the data and it sent us back. It is okay. That is, we will set a 200 status by that server. Okay, so that's for notifying that the data is okay. You have seen this thing, that for not for thing, page not found. You have seen it most commonly. So that is also an error message sent back by that server. If this status message is for not for, then that error will not. So that stands for an error. Okay. If status code is 200, that stands for OK status. Okay. So this is what happens with XML HTTP request or AJAX request. So first we need to send a request. For that we have to create a request object, then open a connection, then send. These three simple steps. Then whenever that request comes back, we can respond to that request using xhr.onload function. We can specify a function there. Okay, and within that function we can check the status code, and in this code section we can do whatever we need to do. We can do anything. Okay, we can code what need to be happen when the data comes back. Okay, so here are several status codes are given. Okay, so I think it is clear. So there is an example I have given where Ajax is implemented. So let's see what happens there. So this is a script portion. So this is a script portion, and there is a body portion. In this body portion, a division is given. There is a paragraph, and there is a button. And whenever that button is clicked, display full name function is called. Okay, so that function definition is given as part of that script. You can see that the name given here, whenever that button is clicked, this function is called. Okay, this function is this. Okay, well, let's see what happens there. So as I explained, the first thing need to be done is create an XML HTTP request object, then open that connection. Okay, here a page, here a request is made to a PHP page. So that is what is the server is. Okay, and with the query first name and last name. Then request dot on ready state change. Okay, there is a difference from that previous method I have given, that is on load. Okay, here they have used another method called on ready state change. That means a ready state is changed. Ready state is changed means ready state status is changed. That is 200 or 404 is got. Okay, we got that 400, 404 or 200. That means that ready state is changed. Okay, then this function will be triggered. So there we are checking ready state is 4 or and status is 200. Then they are providing, they are going one step further. They are ensuring two things. Okay, ready state is 4 and status is 200. It's enough to check with the status 200. Document not get element by ID result. Oh, okay. Here you can see that document dot get element by ID result. You have seen it in the DOM. We are accessing that division. Okay, so we are accessing this division dynamically using document object model. And we are setting inner HTML. Inner HTML means for manipulating that content. Inner HTML can be used. That means we can manipulate the content dynamically using inner HTML. And we are setting it as this dot response test. This dot response test means the response test, which is an attribute or property as part of that response. So we are modifying this paragraph with whatever we got as part of that Ajax request. Okay, so this clearly explains the dynamic thing which happens with Ajax. So we are making a request. Whenever we click on that button, an Ajax request object is created and request is sent to the server. And whenever that request comes back, we are modifying the inner HTML of the element with that response. Okay, so with this response, that paragraph will be get modified. That means this paragraph will be get modified by the response sent by that server. Okay, so this is what happens with Ajax. Okay, so this is the basic idea of implementation of Ajax, and you can use in several way with that JSON or HTML or XML. So that formats or statements may vary, but this is the core idea. So that is a part of Ajax. So Ajax implementation, we have introduced that XML HTTP request objects. That is the core thing. And to make the request, there are three things need to be remembered. Create an XML HTTP request object. Then the second thing, you need to open a connection. And the third thing, you have to make a send request. Okay. For response, you can use either on load or ready state change. Okay, you can use either of those things, and you can create an event or function corresponding to that, and within that function, you can represent whatever need to be happen. Okay. That was the implementation part. Now we are moving to something different, something entirely beautiful thing that is called jQuery. Okay, so jQuery. Okay, so you can see here jQuery's logo, and within that you can see that caption: "Write less, do more." So it's specifies what jQuery does. So their code is, or their motto is, "Write less, do more." So jQuery is a JavaScript library which can be used to do the things that JavaScript does, but with ease. That means we can write simple codes, but we can do more things. Write less, do more. So that is jQuery. So it is the most popular JavaScript library. Our normal JavaScript is called pure JavaScript or vanilla JavaScript. Okay. So and while coding things with JavaScript, sometimes it gets messy. We have to uh, type several codes for doing some particular action. So what jQuery is, it's a simple library provided for all those functions. Okay, you can simply use that jQuery library. We can simply incorporate that jQuery library into our web page, and you can use all the functionalities of jQuery. So that is jQuery. With jQuery, we can do all the following tasks very easily with less code. Okay, so that is the feature. Select elements. We can select DOM elements dynamically. Perform tasks. We can manipulate those elements, and handle events. We can perform event handling with ease. So that what jQuery does. And you can refer more about jQuery in this website, that is jQuery.org. Let's please check that website. You can see a lot of information there. Uh, so why use jQuery? So with jQuery, we have symbol selectors. We can use CSS kind of like selectors for selecting objects, selecting HTML objects dynamically, like that, like the thing we did with DOM. Okay, we can use CSS like selectors to select the DOM elements and manipulate. Common task in less code. That is a great feature. Then CSS like selectors. That's what I discussed. Cross-browser compatibility. There can be some issue with DOM accessing in most of the browser, but jQuery is popularized so that it got a mileage that most of these websites use jQuery. Support websites not. Most of the browsers can support jQuery, and jQuery follows a efficient manner, so that it fallbacks to traditional way if its features are not available. A cross-browser compatibility is provided as part of jQuery. That's why jQuery is more popular. So jQuery is JavaScript. Let's look into it. Okay. So this, I believe this example clearly signifies that motto: write less, do more. Okay. So in the left side, uh, I have given a statement: document.query select role li for selecting li elements in an element in a list, in a unordered or ordered list as part of the DOM. Okay, as part of the DOM, I have explained this document.query selector all li. Okay, so with this message, all those li elements got selected. Okay, so this is what we do in the case of pure JavaScript or vanilla JavaScript. So let's see alternative in the case of jQuery. Write less, do more. The whole thing is got substituted by a single dollar. Okay. So document.query selector all. Whole thing is got substituted by a single dollar. You just need to type a single dollar and within that li. Okay. That's jQuery is that simple. Okay. And okay. So here is a method example is given. jQuery dot dollar of li dot hot. So that is the jQuery object. jQuery object is there. Then a method is given. Method, you can access method, anything you can do in the similar way that you have used in the with DOM example in the case of with JavaScript. Okay, you can use with jQuery also. Okay, so this is a simple thing to do experiment with. You can use simple basic selectors with jQuery, hierarchy, parent, child, all those things you have used in the CSS way of selecting can be used in jQuery also. Then content filters, you can with those elements. Okay, I have said that finding elements, manipulating elements, and creating events, all these things can be easily done with jQuery. Okay, all these functions can be utilized. For changing content, you can use the method .html .text replace with. There are several methods are associated, and several other methods are implemented to make the task easier. Add, empty, clone, append. Several methods are there with jQuery. You can use all of these things. And jQuery is one of the important feature. Uh, it can be used for animation. You can create simple, great animations with jQuery with ease. That is one of the beauty with jQuery. So animations, and we can cascade things one after another. That means you can use several animations or several methods one after another. That means you can type in this kind of manner, like uh, I will type here dollar dollar of li li dot add class style highlight highlight. Okay, so I add a class, then I can give dot hide dot show dot uh, fade out. Okay, I can cascade all these things. Dot slide down. Okay, just typing it is meaningless. Dot show. Okay, so you can cascade all those things with jQuery. That is the beauty of jQuery. You can use effects, simple and elegant animations and effects with jQuery. Okay, so that is jQuery. So it makes our lives easier. So that is the introduction or base or core foundations of jQuery. You can explore jQuery further from that jQuery.org website. Okay, so it makes the whole task easier. It's a simple JavaScript library. All those things can be done with JavaScript. I'm not saying that JavaScript can't do that, but jQuery makes it easier. You have to type only less code, and you can use animations. For using animations in the case of JavaScript, you need to type a lot of code, but with jQuery, whole process becomes simpler. That way jQuery is. And now we will see what is how to use Ajax in jQuery. So as part of jQuery, for implementing Ajax, which is a common great feature, several methods are provided. Okay, so you can use a .load method, $.get method, $.post method for several kind of things. For getting, you can use $.get. For posting some data to that server, you can use $.post. And you can use another method like get JSON, get script. Okay, and there is a a compressed method for all these things that is called .ajax, $.ajax. You can use this method for making Ajax request in the case of jQuery. $.ajax. I'll stop with an example of $.ajax in the case of jQuery. Okay, so $.ajax method, which is a common method used in jQuery for implementing Ajax. Okay, so you have to specify $.ajax. So here is a bracket. Here is a bracket closed. Within that bracket close, you have type. You have to type an object. Okay, so this bracket to this bracket. Oh, sorry. From this bracket to this thing. This whole thing is a kind of representation of an object in the case of JavaScript. Okay, so you can specify several properties. Type. Type means method type. Method type is get. You can use either post or anything. Post, delete. Several requests are there. Then URL. URL means, as we discussed, to which page that request need to be Ajax request need to be submitted. And data type JSON. Data type JSON stands for that response type. That is JSON. Then a success colon function of data. Okay, so this data will hold whatever the data returned by that server, and this success function will be get activated whenever that server sends some data back. It is equivalent to our own load or own ready state function. Okay, you can see the difference. You can okay, in the previous our example where we implemented Ajax in JavaScript, we need to do several things like you have to open XML HTTP request object, then you have to open a connection, then you have to send a request, then you have to use XML HTTP request object dot load or on ready state change, and within that you have to represent an event. Okay, the whole thing is simply represented with $.ajax in jQuery. Okay, that's the beauty. You have to just type an objects and specify some values like type dollar get post delete वगैरह वगैरह anything. Then URL you have to type to where that request need to be sent. Then data type JSON. Then success colon function of data. Okay, and that data will contain whatever data sent by that server. And here that success function, success, which can be made equivalent to that on load or on ready state change. And here you can type whatever code you need to type. Okay, you can change, you can manipulate DOM to display something. All these things can be done with these Ajax. Okay, so that is Ajax implementation in the case of jQuery. Okay. So that concludes my section. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Now we can get into question and answer session. Okay. See. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
We have a question.
Okay.
Okay. Is that callback function provided in Ajax that helps in avoiding page reloading?
Yes. We can make the whole idea of Ajax is to avoid that page reloading. We can request our data asynchronously. Asynchronously means we doesn't need to wait for something to make something happen. Okay, we can do the task while we are getting data. Okay, or we can do some other things while we are doing some other modification. Okay, and meanwhile the data will be sent back whenever that data is data we get, that portion will be get updated. So that's what happens with that callback function. So that callback function is used for that avoiding that page reloading and getting data asynchronously. For implementing that asynchronous part, that callback is used. Okay, when you see JavaScript, So there are several methods for implementing asynchronous way of coding in JavaScript, which is one way is callback, and another one way is that is called async await, and another one way is called promise. Okay, when you refer ES6, you can see more details into it. Or maybe I can take a class on ES6 or something. I will plan. That is the thing. Uh,
Okay, sir.
okay.
Mm. Okay, sir. One more question regarding the K2 important questions from this portion.
Okay.
Which all questions can we expect from this?
Okay. I have to convey one thing. The jQuery portion is not in your K2 syllabus or something. We can expect questions from that Ajax, the core implementation of Ajax. In the case of K2 syllabus, that Ajax portion is get implemented in XML, and you have to make things clear about XML. It is clear in the textbook itself that is XML portion, how document object more that extensible markup language is used, and here what I specified is the basic idea how that XML, not XML, how Ajax is implemented in the case of web page. Okay, so you can use this fundamental idea to study more about that Ajax implementation with XML, which is provided in the textbook. You can implement it, you can expect a question from that Ajax implementation side, and you can you can expect another question from this core idea of Ajax like that two figures I have provided, which is in the textbook. You can see. Please use all these things and make a clear idea about XML also. So just a chapter there.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
One question from Atmaja. Is there any disadvantages of Ajax?
I'm not familiar with I have not come up with any disadvantages for Ajax. It doesn't make the page slower. Most of the things is implemented in Ajax. Even that Google Map or any Facebook or everything they utilize Ajax. As the disadvantages, they will not go for that. Okay, I think there is no much disadvantage with it. But with everything, there can be some disadvantages. Okay, it's obvious. Can happen with Ajax too, but I think there are not so many.
Uh, okay, sir. That's all from the question part. We can conclude. We have come to the end of the session. I would like to thank Mr. Regin sir for explaining us about Ajax and jQuery. By the session, I hope you all have got a good idea about Ajax and its importance in web applications. And thank you once again, sir, for making the
Thank
portion
you.
very clear.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Okay.